I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. As you
And
can
a child
see,
shall lead them.
as you can see, it's the big homie Tobias Forge down there.
Yep.
And
We're back at this this review for Amanda, who's being very patient with us while we talk for a very long time on this one.
yeah.
So this is part 2.
This is part 2, and we're just, he's sharing his opinion, and we're sharing our opinion on his opinion. So there's that.
Don't forget, there's also a opinion section where you can put your comments.
Right, called the comment section.
All right, everybody can have an opinion, and everybody can say it. Nobody can listen to anybody, and we can all just get stupider. Let's go.
Okay.
As individually.
We already listened to that part.
Yeah, we did. It was right when that other guy
Whoever-
came in. I think at 4 minutes,
churches and
13
religions
seconds,
have made
something like
sure
that.
Their followers have felt crap about themselves.
So that was him talking about how religion makes people feel bad about themselves, and
That's all in part 1 if you want to hear that breakdown.
He wants the ghost shows to be sort of a ritual, but at the end where people feel good instead of a ritual like in Christianity where people feel bad. Okay, so here is the next one.
Recently a prayer meeting, I believe in Texas, about somebody who was worried that Ghost was bringing satanic influence into his neighborhood. And he came and prayed for you, actually. What was that like, hearing that? Because that's quite a distinguished group that you now belong into. People who have been protested for apparently being satanic.
I mean, they're right. I think that this guy is obviously poorly informed about, what we're doing. But on the other hand, it's like, if he is an actual Bible-thumping, true believer over a certain border, then it's like talking to someone who has some sort of malfunction, I guess. Because if they don't understand that what we're trying to do is actually, we're trying to make these, however many people that was at that show, let's say 1,000 people, we're trying to make them happy. We're trying to make them happy about life. We're actually quite humanistic. And if you think, and if you take all of these things that we're saying and what we're doing completely literally, and believe that this is equal to damnation, then there's no way that we can meet intellectually. So on one hand, as a human, I can grieve for tendencies like that, because I think it reflects on something more somber and limited and regressive. While my guitar gently weeps, thinking about that. On the other hand, as a obstinate little hard rocker shit, I'm also like, but yeah, but I'm always sort of holding that little shit in the hand as well, but I think is more sad in a way. In my middle school, I had a very strict bitch of a teacher who definitely had an aversion for me. But she met me when I was already a fully fledged sort of Satanist. And I was very, very stuck up. We were at odds, for real. She was walking around with the other teachers and basically telling them about like how I was this and that, and how every grade that I was supposed to get should sort of be weighed against the idea that I was actually a little bit of a Satanist little asshole.
Oh my God, that's awful.
And,
The hell, that's great.
yeah, I can definitely laugh now, looking back at what feels like a completely different life so long ago.
Wow.
So far away. I applaud that 14-year-old that told her to go f*** herself.
Your song.
Alrighty then. Okay, so the next.
Man, okay.
Okay, so the next thing was Christians, or I guess Ghost was showing up to Texas, and some Christian kid prayed for ghosts.
Oh, I didn't know it was a kid. I just assumed it was like some leader.
Let me
leader
try to
of some
Google
church
it.
or whatever.
Go ahead. Just tell me what your thought are.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, despite pastor's prayer, Texas Christians pray against ghosts. They are all about bringing glory to Satan. This kind of band will bring spiritual influences into this area, says local pastor Harry Long. Yeah, so it was unbelievable. It was a pastor, and they led some prayer meeting.
I totally would have been all about that years
there you
ago.
go, right
for sure.
there, right
I would have
there.
headed up that prayer meeting.
Says local pastor. You would have headed up that prayer meeting.
You know I would have, babe. And they're like, oh no, there's like some satanic band coming. We have to pray against this so nobody...
You know, when I was coming up, it wasn't Ghost, it was Marilyn Manson. And Marilyn Manson was a lot more provocative, in my opinion, than Ghost was. Mm-hmm. Or is. Although I will say that Ghost is a little bit more insidious than Marilyn Manson, because you could tell right from the outset, reading the book by its cover, that Marilyn Manson was on the black team. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with Ghost, if you just listen to Ghost music, it sounds kind of 1950s popish sometimes.
Right.
But I'm still not sure what brand of Satanism he is. So I've been
I don't know either.
I've been doing some deep dives, and there's theistic Satanism, there's Luciferianism, then there's the chaos stuff that the dude from I think the band's name is Dash. And it's chaos, mystical, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, the big homie ended up killing himself, I think.
Oh, jeez.
So there are multiple forms of Satanism. It's not just one It's not just one
Yeah,
thing. So
right,
when he says, when he laughs at the guy and says, well, yeah, I'm a Satanist, I think what happens is that there's like a disconnect between what Christians, you know how I always say, if you want to hear about Islam, you have to hear it from a Muslim.
Yeah. Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear what Satanism is, you cannot hear it from other Christians. You can't have Christians come to you
I've been
and say,
so disappointed in stuff like that. I went to a Bible college where they taught us all about all the different stuff, and I was so misinformed on so many different topics. So now I don't even go by the things that I heard.
Yeah, I did a live stream recently.
So much.
I did a live stream recently, and there were like 11 tenets of LaVeyan Satanism.
Yeah.
Which recently we've been on the Ayn Rand kick.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Mr. LaVey was heavily influenced by Ayn Rand, which makes a lot of sense. And it's really ironic because, as one of my commentators stated, that a lot of the right-wing libertarian strain of Christianity loves Ayn Rand. So it's like really full circle.
Yeah.
Like she influenced LaVeyan Satanism and hyper right-wing Christianity.
Right.
So it's like
very interesting.
It's very, very fascinating stuff. So, you know, and I was reading the 11 tenets of Satanism, LaVeyan's brand of Satanism, and it was very fascinating because there was a lot of, like, for example, it was like if somebody is in your house uninvited or something like that.
Yep.
Like, be cruel to them, show them no mercy or whatever.
Oh, well,
I correlated
that's every Christian.
I correlated
in
that
America almost.
Yeah. Don't come to our country. Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
get my gun.
I correlated that to Proverbs. You know, where it says, "Don't stay too long at your neighbor's house, lest he hate you." So there and there.
Wait, did I misunderstand what you just said? Say that again.
So if somebody is
comes uninvited, you mean
if somebody is
an
annoying,
intruder?
it literally says.
Annoying?
I think it says if somebody's annoying you in your lair.
Oh.
Which is, you know, your house, right?
That's so funny because actually each religion has that.
He says,
because Islam
show
said
them
that,
no
remember?
mercy. Huh?
Remember in Islam, he said that the prophet would let
Yeah, but that was specific to Muhammad.
Oh, not everybody can.
Yeah, because he had just got married and he
right,
wanted he wanted his conjugal rights of
he was tired.
Marriage.
He wanted to go to sleep.
And the people were just hanging out in his house. And then Allah, all of a sudden there is this revelation, you know, do not stay too long in the Prophet's house. He's too embarrassed to tell you, but Allah's not too embarrassed. Don't annoy the Prophet.
Boy,
get out so he can,
that is so convenient.
But, well, yeah, Aisha said that, you know, it seems your Lord hastens to satisfy your desires. But anyway, my point is, I'm still not sure what kind of Satanist.
Yeah, I don't know either.
He is. He's a humanist. He said that in the two clips. And I'm assuming his particular brand of humanism is whatever reduces harm and increases pleasure is good for the most possible Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
Is good.
Okay.
And so that's his...
I mean, it does sound like he's trying to do what he believes to be good.
Right. And he even said in the previous clip, he said, you know, he people feel like crap after they go to church, and he wants people to be involved in some sort of ritual that makes them feel good when they leave. Mm-hmm. And any kid who's ever been to a rock, I remember it's really interesting. I remember my first rock show was Korn, April 8th. It was them, Staying in Mindless Self-Indulgence, and the month and a half, the 2 months was counting down that April 8th show. I think we bought the tickets in like January. And like it was the highlight of my life. It was like there are very, very few anticipated. Probably the birth of my first child was probably the only thing I've anticipated more than going to that show. Like,
wow, really? It was that intense?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because again, this wasn't like and people in this generation of rock fan will never understand because they have YouTube. So if you want to see Ghost, you can see it anytime you want. I couldn't.
Right.
So, but anyway, I understand what he's saying. Like he makes and for that hour and a half that Korn was on the stage, it was the best time of my life up to that point. in my life. Like,
wow, that's
easily the best moment of my life. So if you don't have, this is where I think the where he was going, because I'm not really sure that this is a criticism of Christianity, what Tobias was saying here. If you don't understand rock subculture and you don't understand how important going to a show is, especially going to your first show, if you don't get it, you don't understand how much good is happening there.
Oh. Yeah.
You don't understand how much good is being done there. You don't understand the connection that people have with their favorite rock band.
Right.
It's unlike anything. Like I said,
maybe they do. Maybe that generation had gone to shows and they really felt connected to the artists, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, I connected to that artist so much. What's going to happen if these kids connect to this Satanist?"
Well, the good people admit, very possible, took a stance against Satanism this past weekend when they held a public prayer circle in hopes of exorcising evils of a certain Swedish troop of miscreants. That troop, of course, was Ghosts, led by Cardinal Copia, yada, yada, yada. We believe the devil is real, just as we believe his God's real. The fact that they describe themselves as a worship band for Satan is, I think, quite shocking, and I think most of our community would be surprised to learn that. They cover their faces with masks that look like devils in their concerts, and they're all about worshiping and bringing glory to Satan. It's not just the thing and it's just not the thing I think most of Permian Basin would be happy to have in our community. So it's just, they're just judging them from the external. Look, they wear masks that look like devils.
They didn't say anything about the lyrical content.
They didn't say anything about the lyrical content or what Ghost is trying to do with their music, or even what rock music or metal as a whole does for a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid. They don't say any of that.
Right.
It's just, they look like devils and yada, yada, yada. And to some degree, Ghost can't complain because you're dressing like that to instigate that kind of response from older people so that you can say, oh, look at these ignorant Christians. Right? So, like, I don't think Tobias is... I
don't know if they're trying to instigate older people. They might not even care about them.
He
might just be...
You think I completely disagree.
What?
I completely disagree. I saw this with Marilyn Manson a million times.
No, Marilyn Manson, I can say, he picked that because he was... Yeah. That makes
they're
sense.
obviously trying to instigate that type of... So I thought that he was a little bit sanctimonious when he's like, he's weeping for that kind of ignorance. Yada. I don't believe that. It's like, come on, bro. Like... You've got this entire shtick. You know that when you go to the backwoods of Texas, I'm sorry, guys, but come on. But you know when you go to the backwoods, there's going to be some pastor that says, wait a second, these guys look like devils.
Yeah.
And they
influence our teenagers.
And you know what happened. Some Karen found a ghost CD in her kid's, computer or backpack or whatever. And it'd be end of the world. The poor kid's getting holy water thrown on him, all that shit. You know it. So, like, he's instigating that kind of response, and he loves that kind. They love that kind of response. He doesn't feel bad for those people.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't feel bad for them. Come on, Tobias. Let's be real, bro.
He didn't say he felt bad for them.
Yeah, he did. He said my guitar gently weeps. You know, like when you want to like really sneak diss somebody, like I just pity you. I'm not even mad. I just pity you. It's that type of thing. I don't believe you feel sorry for the people at all. But
okay.
But my problem is like the lack of willingness to see what the people are about is like. That's the thing that gets me. Like, if your kids are into this shit, there's a reason. And the most obvious, silly reason, it's because your kid is being drawn into Satan. Like, come on, man. I'll never forget the most, because we've been to a couple rock shows, doing the channel. And the most significant moment I had was we were at the Behemoth show. Which, if you want to talk about Satanism, I mean, they actually did a ritual. Because you were behind, because we had media passes. So you were there before the curtain dropped.
Yeah, I went back. Like, I don't think I was supposed to be there. I went back behind the curtain, but...
yeah, and he was actually doing shit.
Yeah, he was. He was doing like these symbol-y things. They had like a lot of like incense.
And that wasn't for the fans.
The curtain was up.
The curtain was up. That wasn't for the... Okay, so So I'm at the ghost show. There are 2 kids behind me in corpse paint. Completely devilish looking, whatever.
At the ghost show?
No. At the Behemoth show. We've never.
Yeah, I
been to a
know,
ghost
but
show.
I was like,
So they're behind us in corpse paint. They look the part, whatever. And kids start talking about how Nergal had leukemia.
Oh God, I know.
And how Nergal overcame it.
Mm-hmm.
And how it inspired him to keep going.
Right.
And to push through whatever trouble he had. So I'm listening to this shit behind me. And I'm like, immediately I'm like, God is here. Now I know,
Yeah.
I know, it's the devil, it's a song for the devil, blah, blah, blah. But I don't, this stuff doesn't work like the cartoons from a biblical perspective. Like there isn't a force field where like Yahweh can't, oh no! Mm-hmm. It's a Behemoth show. He did his little thingamajiggy. So
I'm
now,
not allowed here.
I'm not allowed here. Get the fuck out of here. She's like, get the fuck out of here, dude. So like, you mean to tell me that God, look.
I think God is much more quickly ready to leave a church that professes a certain level of belief in Him and love for Him, but doesn't treat people the way that they should be treated, rather than a situation like that. I think that God is absolutely at those shows, and I think that people are in a very spiritual environment, and they're looking for something. And I think that I have to go on record again saying I can't believe, and I think that it's horrible that Christians were celebrating him getting leukemia or whatever it was that he got. I think that is wrong. If they were like, hey, like maybe this will be the thing that, like Jordan Peterson, he went through some very, very difficult times, and you can tell that it deepened him spiritually, and he is
100%.
changing.
100%.
And so if it's one of those where they're like, you know, this situation's happening for him, you know, I really pray that this brings him to like a different level or a different place spiritually. Great. But don't celebrate this man's, that's crazy to me.
Same with Marilyn Manson. Like he's, you know, whatever. It might be a mockery, but all the people that were celebrating him are turning against him now. By the way,
I never met any Christians that celebrated somebody's illness like that. Did you?
Oh yeah.
You did?
Yeah, he just weren't paying attention. But like the church, we're supposed to be the refuge for when people turn on you. Mm. So like, you know, Marilyn Manson, who has been out in public with the type of person that he's been for decades, now all of a sudden he's ran into the Me Too buzzsaw. Now the people that were celebrating are hypocritically turning against him and judging him and all the rest of it. And he finds refuge with Kanye West and some version of Christianity. I don't care what type of Christianity it is that he's in. And I don't care that people are like, oh, he's just doing that because he's having a problem. So that's how most people turn to God, is when they have a problem. Exactly, what the fuck? Exactly. But my point is, I'm sitting there listening to these people talk about Nergal and how Nergal inspired them. Mm-hmm. Now, I believe every good thing comes from God. Mm-hmm. So that determination that Nergal has, that unbreakable human spirit that he has, I believe comes from God. Mm-hmm. So when those people are looking at Nergal and they're celebrating Nergal, they're attributing something to Satan or Satanism or Nergal that really originates with Christ. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because that desire, like, you know, when Christ was taking the cross and they wanted to give him the wine mixed with the drug to make him docile.
What's it called, gall?
And he refused to take it because he wanted to feel all the pain and get through it like a man, like 100% like a man. Mm-hmm. It's that spirit that God gave to Nergal. You know, when he's talking about wolves of Siberia and overcoming all those, that's Christ in Nergal. That's not Satan. Mm-hmm. He can attribute it to Satan all he wants, but that's Christ. So I'm sitting here listening to these kids, and they're getting inspiration. I'm like, you know what? This dude probably saved so many kids from jumping off a bridge.
Yep.
And I'm like, bro, God is here. And yeah, you know, when a little breaks are like, hail Satan. And I said, man, fuck that, hail Jesus. I ain't no bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the fact that you won't listen to what these people are saying or listen to what these kids are saying, like, and then you want to make a public show of praying for this guy, which in reality, we all know what that is. We know what Christianese is. When you're in a prayer group and you want to gossip and talk shit about somebody. You don't know what we're talking
but
about?
Babe, are you sure that's what they're doing? Like, maybe they believe that this is really something that's
Then
bad for their
kids. Why the fuck does the media have to get involved in it?
What do you mean the media is going to get involved?
No, they made sure that the media heard about it, and they made sure to make a public spectacle about praying for this guy.
That's true.
Go to your basement and pray for him.
That's true. If you really believe that God's going to do something, then why do you have to make it public? Just do it silently. And
if you genuinely cared about the man's soul, then why does the media have to know about it? Doesn't God have Tobias Forge's email address? You don't have to go to the media and say that shit and make a big stand about it. But this is the same template that happened with Marilyn Manson. Is that, we got to go out and make a public show of righteousness and all the rest of it. Meanwhile, you've got all these child... It's just like what we saw, there's this movie, this Catholic... I'm not even going to name it because I think the movie is pretty blasphemous and it's not a movie I would recommend. Mm-hmm. But this Catholic League was out there protesting this very, very blasphemous movie. And they're sitting there standing for the truth and they're saying, we need to keep holy things holy. And some lady showed up because this is New York. She said, why aren't you guys out here with the child molesting priests? Mm-hmm. The fuck is wrong? And then
they lied to her and said that
they lied to her and said, we excommunicate them. No, you don't.
No.
And secondly, he goes, well, what would happen if somebody brought up the Koran? Irrelevant.
All of that is irrelevant. You need to answer the question why they were not out there protesting those priests, and they never have.
Exactly.
Come out there with your bagpipes and protest that.
And that's the weakness of this form of Christianity and the strength of that form of Satanism, whatever it is, which is humanism deals with human beings, so you can directly, tangibly see the results of that philosophy. These people were protesting theology, which to most people who have not experienced God is just ethereal smoke. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But this woman was saying, but what about these kids that I can see? And I can touch and that you've touched? What about those people? Mm-hmm. It took the philosophy, the theology. Like, when people use God's name in vain or whatever, people are like, does that offend you? And I always say to them, well, Christ can defend himself. And I mean that. Mm-hmm. And, Christ said, you will pay for every idle word that comes out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. I don't need to defend Jesus. If you want to use Christ's name in vain, a lot of times, if I feel the guy is seriously trying to blaspheme, I'll say a quick prayer. I'll say a quiet prayer for him. I'm afraid for them. Mm-hmm. Because the Jesus I know ain't no bitch either. Mm-hmm. So, like, but the things that really, and it's really fascinating that actual blasphemies about him, Jesus says, listen, anything you say about me can be forgiven. You didn't see Jesus go batshit crazy on people until they were hurting people in the physical world. Mm-hmm. You're mean to the orphan and the widow. Yep. You're not good to your parents. Mm-hmm. If you hurt one of the little ones, you should just kill yourself. Like when you were actually tangibly harming people, that's when Jesus went psycho. Mm-hmm. If you blaspheme me, he's like, look, man, I'll forgive you, man. So, like, I'm not saying that blasphemy is not bad. Not bad. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this form of Christianity where we, Jesus called it straining at a gnat and swallowing a camel. This form of Christianity where we freak out over shit that Jesus didn't freak out about, but we're silent about the things that he was yelling about.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know what happens? Because we're loud about the quiet parts and we're quiet about the loud parts, then he sets up people like Tobias Forge. And he sets up people like Nergal and all these other Satanists. And it's a biblical principle that he will use the fools to shame the wise. Mm-hmm. And we're in all our religion and saying, and look, I don't agree with everything. I mean, look at the previous video I said. I think there's some fatally flawed things in his philosophy as articulated in the first video. Mm-hmm. So I'm not agreeing with everything Tobias does, but I don't care. In this particular situation, I can't stand it. Mm-hmm. Why isn't there a prayer meeting about all the people that are dying of diabetes because of our fucked up healthcare system?
Right.
Why wasn't there a big public prayer meeting about all the fucking people that we dispatched into eternity? And these people are hardcore fundamentalist Christians. These are all Muslims, so all going straight to hell. So all these people that we drone bombed in Afghanistan, why isn't there a prayer meeting then?
Right.
And these
because
kids,
they don't care, because they care more about their money.
These kids who go to these shows are not fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. They know that their parents don't give a fuck about anything. Mm-hmm. But now, they dressed up in these weird masks and they say stuff about Satan. That's okay. But meanwhile, you had Donald Trump in there, and look at my Middle America channel. I'm not one of these simplistic fools that think Donald Trump is the Antichrist. But you can't baptize him either.
Right.
And they especially in Texas, I'm sorry, but they're seeing their parents worship Donald Trump, look the other way when he says things against women, look the other way when he says things about disabled people, mocks disabled people, like the weirdo school bully on the way to school. Like, you see your parents doing all this, but now Ghost is coming to town with a 1-hour set that they've been looking forward to for damn near their entire
You're
lives.
right. That's really
And
messy.
now you want to have a public prayer meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't looking at it like that, but yeah, that's...
Get the fuck out of here. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And the irony is that band probably saved your kid's life. I know the satanic... Mm-hmm. My mom was saying Korn was satanic and all this shit. Korn stopped me. I mean, I got to be honest here. Not necessarily from killing myself, but killing other people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Marilyn Manson stopped me from in high school for a while from hurting other people. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. So, and I was the most balanced one in my group when I started listening to metal. I was the least crazy one. I was the one that wasn't on Klonopin and all the rest, and Seroquel and all the rest of it. Yeah. So, yeah, I have absolute, and like I said, I don't agree with everything Tobias said. And I said in the previous video, he has, in my opinion, fatally philosophical, meaning a philosophical idea that's so self-contradictory it can't be redeemed. Mm-hmm. But I can't stand this type of shit. Because it's like this is what gets you to the public prayer meeting. You know what? If you disagree with me, that's fine in the comment section. You're meant to disagree with me. Send me the clip of that pastor, Larry, whatever the fuck his name is, and show me the prayer meeting.
Right. That he
had. Where he had what's his name? The good people of Midland, Texas.
They always do that.
I love that shit. It's quite shocking. Whatever his name is. What's this guy's name?
Can we scroll down a little bit?
Was it Pastor Larry Long?
Oh.
Yeah. Get me a clip of Pastor Larry Long.
Oh, God.
Asking God to forgive us for the shit that we've done in Afghanistan, Iraq, Yemen, Niger, Syria, Iraq. Show me where that is. Show me where he's asking for forgiveness on our sanctions against countries and people who've done no harm to us. Show me those prayer meetings. Show me the prayer meetings about.
Perhaps he has.
Show me the prayer meetings of repentance of how we've treated LGBT people. Mm-hmm. Sent these kids off to these fucking
camps,
mental reconstruction camps. Show me that, and I'll shoot another video and apologize to Pastor Long. If he hasn't, then fuck him and everybody with it. In love, I say that in love.
Babe, jeez.
This shit is crazy. It's unbelievable to me. Like, these people are so like subsumed in this hypocrisy and just hate and fear. All of this is fear.
Yeah.
There is
a lot of fear.
You literally got undone by a Halloween mask, bro. Literally, you got undone.
But no,
he mentioned the masks.
Honey,
they wear masks.
Yes.
They wear devilish masks.
Yeah, but they're looking at it as like, this is really bad for our kids. This could lead them in a really bad direction. And honey, like, before you and I had conversations about like satanic stuff, there's so much stuff that floats around. Well, you already said it before. You have to go to the source to get your information. There's so much misinformation about Satanism and seances and sacrifices and sacrificing babies and all these things that people are running around with this information. And because they're...
You really think these people out here sacrificing babies?
I don't know what they think. I know that I know lots of people that would have thought that about, you know how many, we did it at our college. We had these prayer meetings on Halloween and stuff because of the, you know, the Satanists sacrificing the babies. I was crying. Babies are dying. All the while, you know, all this pressure that they put on girls about the purity culture and stuff like that. So many abortions are probably happening in the church because nobody wanted to admit what was happening. Those are the babies I should have been crying over. But I didn't know. I was misinformed. I saw, you know, they put together these videos and you think that because there's a video made up on it, it's actually facts. Untrue. This was before YouTube, you know. So here's this, you know, big time pastor that you've heard forever and he's giving you all this information. You don't think that he's lying to you?
Jesus didn't say it's more difficult for a Satanist, for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than the Satanist to inherit the kingdom of heaven.
It says a rich man. It's harder for a rich person. He didn't say it's
more difficult for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a pagan to enter the kingdom of heaven. He said it's more difficult for a camel to go through the eye of a needle, or easier for the camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven.
I heard that the eye of the needle was like...
That's a lie.
What?
No, he just literally meant the eye of a needle. It wasn't
like a needle?
Yeah. It wasn't a gate or
That's completely
like that.
Impossible then.
That's exactly right.
But it's not impossible for a rich man to enter the kingdom. Like, it's not impossible
for all of us to enter the kingdom. But what he's talking about is a rich person is so less likely to see their need for God because they're so full of pride and evil that they can't see the evil that's in front of them. Which is my point. These people worship capitalism. They worship the dollar. And I'm sorry, the vast majority of Satanists that I ran into are more likely to vote for policies that benefit people on a social perspective. And it's the Ayn Randian right-wing libertarians that be like, man, fuck you. If you, hey, you're dying of diabetes because your healthcare won't cover. Man, fuck you. Die. So you shouldn't have been. You know what the Christians told me when I talked about Alex Smith and how he died at 28 years old.
Oh no!
They said, well, what was he doing as a waiter at 28?
Oh God, are you serious?
Yeah. Let me see the voting rolls of the Satanists. I guarantee you they'd be voting for. I guarantee you the vast majority of Satanists I know are voting for Medicare for all.
It's terrible.
But here we are with our worship of capital, and you have the audacity to call this guy a Satanist?
Wow!
Like in the Google Gaga sense? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. Like, come on, man. You know, look, Jesus, like, look, we'll figure the Satan stuff out. We'll figure the blasphemy stuff out. But what does it say? What did the guy say yesterday? He said, the biggest test for love of God is love of neighbor. Mm-hmm. And the biggest test for love of neighbor is love of enemy. Mm-hmm. And evangelical American Christianity is striking out on both of them.
Yep.
And so, you know,
yikes.
Like, I obviously have no tolerance for this type of religion and this type of showmanship in religion. Mm-hmm. I can't stand it. If you really, really, really were concerned for the guy, you wouldn't have to go to the media and do that shit.
Yeah, it's true. And why not try to have a conversation with him?
You obviously got the guy's attention. Say, give me a ticket to your show.
Right.
Show me what you're about.
Pastor goes to the... Yeah, that would have... Yeah.
They would have done it. It would have been a wonderful spectacle.
Would have been a wonderful spectacle.
I'm serious. Show me what you guys are about. And look, if you want to talk about hostile, I'm pretty sure the Behemoth folks would be a lot more hostile than the Ghost folks. And we were right in there. We were right in there. And again, people were saying, "Hail Satan." I was saying, "Hail Jesus." Mm-hmm. And nobody tried to murder me. And Nurgle recognized who we are. And he said, "Hey, hey, those people." And he had the whole crowd cheering for us. And he told everybody to buy us a beer. Okay? Right. That was 20 minutes removed from him doing all this weird shit. So, like, they're not what you think they are. But even if they were, who cares?
I know. Really. Happen, my word.
What's the word? That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck?
It's not like, you know, Nergal's really gonna. What is that Christian? Doesn't he have one to like burn the Christians or kill the Christians or something?
Yeah. He shouted us out, and he's saying, "All right, guys, next song, Christians to the Lions."
Lions.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? Kids are having fun. They got to say all their types of shit, and then we were not able to fucking. You had to pull me out of the facility. Everybody was like trying to pull on us, trying to get us to do. You know, wanted to talk to us so much and whatever. You know, I mean, God Almighty.
I liked the second part of his talk too, where he was talking about his school and like. I know this is so terrible.
They were going to give him bad grades.
Yeah, I know. But when he said that what did he say to the woman? He basically cursed her out.
Yeah, fuck you or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
I was like, I had so many bad experiences with teachers growing up because of how legalistic they were. And I'm like, you know, that was probably healthy for him. I never got the opportunity. Maybe I'll put a Facebook.
Well, you did have the opportunity, but you were too soft.
No, I didn't even know any curses.
You didn't want any smoke.
I didn't know curse words.
I
knew there was some out there.
You didn't know curse. So if somebody would have said, fuck that, you would have had no idea what they were saying.
No, I probably would have said, whoa, what's that? That's probably one of those. I'm telling you, babe, you don't know how completely sheltered we were. We were not around any cursing. I did not hear any.
You were with Homeboy, though.
Who?
You were with Homeboy.
Who?
Crying.
Honey, I'm talking about when I was in school. I was homeschooled by that point. Oh, I thought you meant
Bible college.
No, by Bible college, I knew what curses were.
Our kids are homeschooled. They know a plethora of bad words.
Well, that's because of you.
They know them in a bunch of languages and shit.
Jeez,
What? They're just syllables. I don't even care. It's about the intention, dear listener. The intention! Kablukilu.
Yep.
All my Insomni Stream Fireside people knows what Kablukalu is. It's a word
I have no idea.
It's a word I made up, and we've arbitrarily decided that it's a bad word, so we get to say it. Kablukilu.
That's not good.
And now it's all offensive.
I feel offended.
Now it's all offensive. This review has gone. We've gone off the. Okay, so the teacher was running around. I mean, it was kind of funny. It's kind of funny, but
it was so terrible, though.
At the same time as a black kid whose brother experienced real discrimination, like in his grades, from a teacher.
That's crazy.
That's not funny. So because he doesn't hold to a religion, and bless God, the kid became a rock star, but you could really fuck somebody up.
Oh, for sure. You
could really, really mess with a kid's life.
And not to mention, you don't even know what's going on in somebody's home life.
Correct.
Like, what makes people choose certain things? What makes somebody choose to not follow the beaten path that everybody else is following? And then you're going to single that one kid out and you're going to fuck with his grades? What's going to happen? What about when he goes home? What's going to happen with his... You know what I mean?
Campaign with the other teachers.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Campaign with the other teachers.
This is out of control.
To get the kids' grades. Like, you could have really screwed up... I don't know what the educational...
I'll tell you, if it wasn't for Jesus, I'd abandon that whole religion. I really would.
Yeah, I don't...
It's just too much.
I don't know what the how the system works over there, but, like, you could presumably really fuck up this kid's life.
Oh.
And, you know, what are the odds that everybody that woman...
At that point, too, college was like, you had to do college.
Correct. Yeah, and
there was no entrepreneurs.
You're right. It's a lot different now, but you're right. So what would have happened...
Not no entrepreneurs. It's just more easy now.
What would have happened, though, if he wasn't one of the 0.0005% that made millions of dollars as in a rock band? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like, I do. That's awful.
Listen, we're gonna have a lot. I'm saying because even though I'm criticizing the fuck out of these people,
they are our people.
They're still our people. They're still our family, and I'm not gonna act like I'm innocent,
right?
And say it's those people over there.
Well, that's why I said I would have joined that prayer meeting, years ago.
Well, the problem is that I was the one that people were having prayer meetings about because I was in the trench coat mafia. I gotta find. YouTube's probably gonna. Well, hopefully this is deep enough, and there's like 4 people still listening. But I'm gonna find that video or that picture of me and my crew.
Oh, you should.
Because
you absolutely should.
I was like dead in the Bronx, New York. People are gonna be like, "What? That was Vinny?" Yeah, if I believe in something,
He didn't have glasses back then.
if I believe in something, man, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I'm the only one. I don't care. I ain't no bitch. Anyway, this is part 2. Sorry, Amanda, this one was a little bit long.
It's the same length as the other one. 45 minutes on the last one, too. Well, there you have it.
There's a Satanist guy who despises me. He's like, he's like, you don't know anything. And he's like, we don't believe. I'm like, you're not the high priest of Satanism, beloved. Like, who are you? Shout out to the homie. I forgot his name. He's got an exclamation point in this thing.
You have a name, so.
Shout out to the homie. Gang, gang. Anyway, there you go. I don't know what else to say. Love your neighbor. Don't fuck up people's lives because they wear masks or whatever.
And don't you dare say kablooky clue to your teacher.
Don't say kablooky loo to your kids. See, you can only say that in an insomnia stream, which we probably will have tonight in Chum. Having said that, dear listener, Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.